For about 6 years before I graduated from high school, I participated in the Homeschool Legal Defense Association's debate league. Now, what this is, it's a group of homeschoolers across America, and not just a single group. It's a bunch of small groups that come together under the umbrella of HSLDA, and they debate. So this is the most prestigious homeschool debate league in the country. And what it was is every year we'd come together and there'd be a topic and we'd have to study and we'd have to come up with our plans and come up with, pieces of evidence to defend our plan and attack anybody else's. We would walk in with hundreds of pieces of evidence into each debate room, and we would have to have those meticulously organized so that we knew exactly where every piece was, so that we could give not only convincing oral arguments, but that we could also pull out evidence to back up what we were saying. And I would walk into the rooms with the confidence of a Trump and walk out with the embarrassment of a Nixon. Now, truth be told, I was not a very good debater. When we were arguing for defending our borders better, my plan was to sprinkle fluorescent dust across the border so that when people crossed, we'd be able to shine a black light on them and say, "Aha, there you are." Another year, I had decided that we could save quite a bit of money in the United States if we just basically create another prohibition by annihilating all tobacco sales instantly. In my proudest moment, I argued that everybody should be mandated to use synthetic motor oil because it would reduce our reliance on foreign powers and reduce our reliance on importing oil from them. Now, obviously, the evidence that I got from this was all marketing material from the people that made the synthetic oil, so that didn't go over super well. You see, I wasn't very good at debating. I was not a strong debater, but it was fun. What was fun about debating was being able to walk into a room and say, okay, within the confines of this room, within the confines of the tournament and the rules that we've got set for us, I can argue with these people without the societal pressure of avoiding confrontation. I am not a very confrontational guy to begin with, but when I'm put in a situation where it's like, no, you can argue and you can leave all bad feelings alone in this room, oh, what a fun idea. And I think that's why I was so interested when I was given the opportunity to review the game that we're looking at today, which is The Great Debate. It's a party game in which you're performing. You could even relate it to charades, even though there's not silent acting. Instead, you're just using your words. What happens is everybody gets an A and a B card. These are voting cards, so everybody that has these will every round vote for either A or B. If it's your turn, you take the deck of cards, you flip the top card, and you read the question, and this is what you're going to be arguing. So each card has a stance. For instance, it could be, who's the better superhero? A, Batman, B, Superman. Now you take your stance, so you're going to be arguing one spot, and at the very top of the card is an icebreaker question, which is a pretty unique and fun idea, but it tells you who you're going to be debating. Now that icebreaker question could be whoever's first name starts with whoever first name starts with the letter closest to R will be debating, or whoever went to bed the latest will be debating. So you find your opponent, and you each have 30 seconds to argue either the A or the B side. Obviously, you're not arguing the same one. Then, at the end of the 1 minute, everybody takes their voting cards and they pick simultaneously, and they all reveal at the same time to show who they believe won that debate. Now, it's important to distinguish the fact that you're not voting for what you believe, what your personal belief is, but rather who debated the topic better. Play then continues. You hand the deck of cards to the player on your left, and you continue until someone has won 5 debates. The game's straightforward. It's very easy to explain, and it's very easy to jump into, even if you didn't start the game with everybody else. It's very important, too, to realize that this is a performance-style party game, and on its surface, if you do not like games like charades, or you don't like games, or you have to think on your feet, or come up with stuff quickly, this is not a game you will enjoy. There are a few games that I would say you can judge by their cover, and this is one that I would say is that. Because you can look at this game, and if I tell you that it's going to be a game where you argue with other people and you have to, argue a particular side and think on your feet, you will generally know, one, if that interests you, or two, if you are not interested in it at all. My experience when playing the game is it's a pretty polarizing game. Some people really did enjoy this, myself included. I thought that this, not overly groundbreaking or anything like that. It worked. It worked in a way that I expected, in a way that I enjoyed, in that I and everyone else were given opportunities to think on our feet, to respond to each other, and it brought about quite a few laughs. The questions themselves are organized in different categories. There's green, which is sort of non-controversial. No one's really going to get heated about it. The yellow adds a little bit of spice, a little bit of controversy, nothing much. And the red are the more adult-oriented cards, and by that I mean not crude necessarily, but heavier topics. So you're arguing between superheroes, and then a red card's flipped, and you're now debating the merits of physician-assisted suicide. So yeah, I guess it can switch back and forth pretty quick between light and heavy topics. But because they're color coordinated, there's a little icon on the corner of the card, you can easily take out the ones that you're uncomfortable with. So if you're playing with a particular group that won't enjoy those difficult questions, just take out the red cards and you're fine. Really, there's only 3 or 4 red cards in the base set. Now there's an expansion, and then there's a standalone expansion that's also on Kickstarter now, and I'll link to that in the description, because you can get all of these questions, just a ton of them, all in one place. I would have liked to have seen some of the more difficult questions, especially the ones that are more politically geared. It's generally not something I'm comfortable with, but what's really interesting with this game is when you have to argue the side of a topic that you don't agree with, especially the political ones. And if you're playing with a group of people that all have similar political views, that's probably the best case and the best situation to play those questions with, because 1, you all agree, and 2, you have to come up with arguments and really think differently on something that you may feel very passionately about, which is pretty cool. Even some of the lighter topics are going to fall flat, because the cards, a lot of them require you to have a pretty wide breadth of pop culture knowledge. Now, not everyone is a Trekkie, not everyone is familiar with particular sports franchises, but thankfully there's enough cards that if you've got one that just falls flat, that no one really knows what to say, you can say, okay, we're going to skip this one, we'll just grab the next one and do that. So there's a little bit for everyone, and you don't necessarily have to know every single card, what every single card is talking about, because you can easily just pick the next one. If you listen to my description of this game and it sounds like something you're interested in, you will probably enjoy it. I enjoyed it. If you're listening to this description and you don't think you'll enjoy it, you probably will not. Like I said, this is a game that you can judge by its cover, and if it's something that looks cool to you, highly recommend you check it out, because with the right group of people in the right setting, it can be a real blast.